Alright folks, welcome to Driftwood Guitars. Today we get to do one of my favorite things, and that is to show you how one of my guitars came out. This particular guitar I've been working on for over a year. It hasn't taken that long to build, but with COVID happening back in 2020 and kind of just life and all that stuff, it's taken a lot longer, especially when it came to nailing down the inlay for the client. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into this shop from a couple days ago to start this video, just give you guys some sexy B-roll of me doing the final touches, including the initial string up of the guitar, and then we're going to come back in here in the studio and I'm going to play it for you. We'll go over all the details, give you guys a really good idea of what it sounds like, and then let you guys decide what you think of it. So here we go. Alright folks, I hope that little intro video there kind of gave you an idea of what's involved the last few steps of getting the strings on the guitar after it's been sprayed with lacquer. But here it is, man. Super excited with how it came out. This is a Grand Session model, which is my largest body size, and it's kind of by far my most popular. I don't think I've built anything other than my Grand Session model in at least 2 years. But this one is, just like all my Grand Sessions, a 16¼ inch lower bout width. And it's 5 inches deep, so it's very similar in volume, like cubic volume, to what a dreadnought would be. So that's kind of the reason why people like it so much, I think. And I now include the arm bevel on these guitars as a standard option. It just comes with the guitar because it just makes this big guitar feel so much smaller. So the specs on this one include a Adirondack spruce top. Beautiful piece that we got here, just real even grain, really nice light colored. Indian rosewood back and sides on this guitar, and it actually has a nice rib bevel that we added to it with maple binding, and it just came out really nice. I ended up doing a Spanish cedar neck on this guitar, and with a satin finish on it, which is something I've only recently started doing, is doing the satin finish on the neck, because it just makes for it to feel a lot faster. It is not quite as sticky. And it's got a solid headstock on it, which, as anybody who's been following my guitars for a while know, that I almost always do slotted headstock, so it's nice to do a solid headstock from time to time for folks. And just like all of my guitars, they're built completely custom for the client. So the gentleman who's getting this guitar actually is a fingerstyle player, a la Doyle Dykes, Tommy Emmanuel, and he came to me saying, listen, I own a couple of Taylor Doyle Dykes signature models, love the neck on them, not crazy about the sound on them. So he actually let me borrow his Doyle Dykes guitar for a little while, and I shaped this neck exactly to it. So the cool thing about these necks is they are the same exact width as a standard Taylor neck, but they're actually significantly thinner here. So it's this weird like illusion that it plays on you, where it actually feels like it's a wider neck, but it's not actually. It's actually thinner in this direction, which is super cool. But I love the way that it plays. It plays really, really well. And yeah, it just came out super good. 14 fret to the body guitar, and with the cutaway. Brazilian rosewood bridge, solid kettlebone bridge pins. And one thing that I think is really cool about this guitar, and that I do on all of my guitars, is I try to include an inlay and get my client to dig deep and figure out what means something to you. What do you want this guitar to represent? And sometimes clients just want some basic inlays, but in this particular case, when he commissioned the guitar for me, he gave me this piece of wood that actually was from the side of the barn from the farm that he grew up on as a child. He said when they sold the farm, he ran up there, kind of snuck up there in the middle of the night and ripped a piece of wood off the side of the barn before the sale closed, so he could have this piece of wood from his childhood farm. And asked me to figure out a way to include that wood in his inlay, which is something I always ask my clients to do. Give me something I can put physically in the inlay that means something to you. So Jamie, being somebody who lives here on the Emerald Coast, asked me to do something that represents that lifestyle, living in Florida. And like many people, has asked me to do some sort of sunset motif, and I've always struggled with that. How do we do a sunset? Because it's really difficult to do horizon lines with inlays. So I ended up actually figuring out a way to do just the sun setting with some seagull silhouettes inside of it, and then just the sun reflection on the water. But the really cool thing is that the sun itself is actually made out of that wood that he gave me from his barn that he from the farm that he grew up on, and it ended up being a nice really piece of aromatic cedar. And it's just really cool because it takes what would be a very simple inlay that doesn't seem super interesting maybe, and suddenly now it has this story to it, and it's really, really cool. It represents living here on the beach, and it also represents his life, which is really cool. And then on the back of the guitar, we ended up putting his family's initials on the guitar, just all around it here. So I'm not sure what all the letters represent, but they're different members of his family, and including the backwards treble clef on the back, because his last name is Shannon. So instead of trying to do like an S, we ended up taking a treble clef and flipping it around backwards to represent the S and music. And I'm just really happy with it. This is kind of that thing that I'm always looking for. How do we strike a balance between telling your story and not making the guitar just like covered in inlays? And I think that this guitar just really nailed that, and it represents it really, really well. So what we'll do is I'll play a couple of chords on it, let you guys hear what it sounds like, and talk about how that came out. Last little things to kind of mention just in spec wise is that this guitar is bound in Advanced Shell Technology blue abalone, including the double abalone rosette. It has the abalone wrapped around the fingerboard as well, and yes, on the headstock as well. We've got the gold Waverly tuning machines on here, and we installed an LR Baggs Anthem system in here for the pickup system, so that's what that little white area you're seeing here is. I plugged it in yesterday. It sounds super great. We're not going to cover the plugged in sound in this video, but that's just a whole nother can of worms that you got to deal with, but it came out really good. It's a dual source microphone as well as undersaddle pickup. I think that covers pretty much everything spec-wise on the guitar, and man, I'm just super excited with how it came out. Jamie's actually coming to get the guitar tomorrow morning, so we're getting this video done for you. It has only had strings on it for less than 24 hours at this point, so keep that in mind as we play here, that this guitar hasn't even begun to open up. But it's funny because Matt and I were actually going to shoot this video yesterday. Like, it had strings on it for like an hour, and the guitar was just so tight sounding. It just was like, man, it's not quite ready yet. And it's amazing how, and Matt had suggested, like, well, let's just wait till tomorrow. We'll shoot the video tomorrow. And the difference between yesterday is just night and day. What a difference a day makes. But the guitar it sounds so much better now. And it's only going to continue here, especially in the next week, to really open up. So I'm excited about that. So we will play some chords on it and give you guys an idea of what she sounds like. We are using the Zoom H6 recorder here with the XY pattern microphone, about probably 8 inches away from the sound hole, and that's what you're hearing this on. It is completely unaltered. I am not going to do any sort of editing on this audio track, so you guys can hear it for what it is. So we want to give you a true representation of what it sounds like. These are D'Addario 8020 phosphor bronze light gauge strings. I think that's all you need to know, right? Yes. We got Matt driving the beat camera. He's trying to sneak around in the background. So the guitar ends up having just a very, very balanced sound. Obviously that was just something in the key of G. It just has a very nice and balanced sound, which is something that the client specifically asked for. This is not going to be a guitar that just gets banged on for, you know, cowboy chords. He's a very fluent fingerstyle player, and so he's going to be moving up and down the neck. It's important that the guitar isn't too bright or bold in any one sonic range. We want this guitar to be incredibly balanced. I know that that's kind of like a lot of times people use that term just too broadly, but in this particular guitar that was the absolute goal, because you don't want to be playing all these different you know, chord voicings up and down the neck and just have the bass kind of killing the treble or the mids killing the treble, or vice versa. So I'm really happy with how that came out. So what we'll do is we're just going to run through all of the major chords from top to bottom. We'll actually start with an E and just work our way through that and let those ring out so that you guys can get a sense of kind of what they sound like, what the characteristics of those notes are. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of playing up the neck after we've done those open chords for you so you can get a sense of what that sounds like. I am by no means a fingerstyle player, so I can't really show you exactly how Jamie's going to be playing this guitar, obviously, but just a little dabbling up and down the neck just to give you a sense of what it sounds like. And then like a... what else we got? Yeah, just a really great guitar. I'm really happy with how it came out. Once again, this guitar hasn't even had strings on it for 12 or for 24 hours yet. It's actually only had them for about 12 hours on here. And I'm just really excited with how it came out. Can't wait for Jamie to come get the guitar tomorrow. And I know that was just a quick little video, but that's really all it takes, right? Hopefully at some point with a lot of these clients, especially Jamie who lives here locally, as this guitar breaks in a little bit, we're going to hopefully have him come in here in the future, in the next year, and do a video of him playing it and kind of giving his thoughts of how it came out. But yeah, man, just super excited. I hope that gave you a little bit of an idea of kind of some of the process and how these guitars come out in the end. You know, you guys have been watching me so far work in the shop building guitars, and now that with the YouTube channel is established and developed, we are going to take these guitars from beginning all the way to end, hopefully give you guys an idea of what they sound like. I know my way around the guitar a little bit. I'm mostly comfortable singing with the guitar, so if we have players that come through here who are really good at just being great virtuosos on the guitar, we'll have them come in as well and do some videos with us. But you have any questions, let me know. And if you're interested in getting a guitar like this for yourself, make sure you guys hit me up via the website. There's a link to my email, and you can inquire about having one made for yourself. And I think that'll do it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.